Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim Nakrin. Okay, so I'm so happy to be able to report this news to you. I know that we've been waiting days for this. You can finally drink the water all around the city of Atlanta without having to boil it first. Okay, so let me show you some footage. Well, that is what you've been doing, is boiling water, right? But the boil water advisory, here's the footage I'm talking about of crews hard at work, getting the water up and running once again. And thankfully, I'm happy to report the boil water advisory has now been lifted. And again, this has been the largest scale water main break in Atlanta's recent history. So such a big relief that finally you don't have to boil that water anymore. And you know, crews have been really hard at work on this issue for much of the week. And we've learned that today FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, is going to have experts here on the ground in Atlanta to start assessing our city's water infrastructure. These are crews doing some work to the roadbed repair, doing roadbed repairs on West Peachtree. It does remain closed between 10th and 14th Street. But again, FEMA is going to be on the ground doing assessments. We were in Mayor Andre Dickens' office just yesterday when he announced he's forming a blue ribbon panel to implement suggestions that the city gets from FEMA and the Army Corps of Engineers. The Commissioner of Watershed Management also showed us an AI-powered device that they're installing on valves to detect leaks before they cause pipes to burst and cause the kind of disruptions that we did see. Finally, the news that people in this part of Midtown have been waiting days to hear. And again, the boil water advisory has been lifted. I do have one final just note here that we're going to continue to follow this, but I want to just let you know also about this arrest that has been made. Just this breaking a short time ago before we get on to some other news that we're following. There has now been an arrest made in connection to a deadly Buckhead nightclub shooting that we've been reporting to you. So it was a deadly mass shooting that happened last month. And a 21-year-old man, Karanji Reese, has now surrendered himself to Atlanta police. He is now facing charges of murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm as well during the commission of a felony, according to police. This all happened on May 12th at the 1145 Lounge. That is where police found 6 people shot. 2 of the victims later identified as 20-year-old Nicrease Ridley and 21-year-old Marie Creighton, and they died at the scene. Police said that the shooting started with a fight that erupted into more violence. Ridley was the intended target, while others who were shot were innocent bystanders. But again, the breaking news here that we are following, 21-year-old Karanji Reese has surrendered himself to Atlanta police, now facing charges of murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, according to police. We're going to keep following the breaking developments there and keep you up to date with all the latest. All right, let's shift gears here and talk about a little bit of lighter news in our segment called In Case You Missed It. I want to bring in anchor Brooks Baptiste joining us. And Brooks, I saw something about spiders.
I hope you're ready, Joy.
Not really, but I'll try to be.
Okay, so look, this actually may be good news for some of the folks who live here in Georgia, because for once we're not focusing completely on how Georgia is being impacted by these Juro spiders that we've been talking about for quite some time. You actually might like to hear this. They're now moving up the East Coast, so we won't be the only ones dealing with these creepy crawly things that we just don't even like to see on the screen right now either. But you know what? It seems that experts say that these Juro spiders are starting to make their way to the Big Apple. Some are saying that they might be hitching rides on cars, maybe even in cars that are traveling from Georgia to New York. But here's what's interesting. These spiders could use their webs to parachute for up to 3 miles.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Wow.
That's just to put things into perspective. Now, the good news is for New Yorkers, the spiders haven't been spotted there in New York just yet, but experts are already saying that their migration patterns suggest it happens to be their next stop.
The situation is we just need to run away.
I think I'm running, but I don't think I'm fast enough. This has 8 legs. I only have 2.
That's how I feel too. I only have 2 legs. I can't run that fast from them, right? So these Juro spiders most likely came over from Asia in a shipping container about 11 years ago, which makes them an invasive species. Experts say the Northeast climate makes for a perfect home base for them. So good news is they might be leaving us alone a little bit, but let's face it, those Juro spiders aren't going anywhere from Georgia anytime soon.
Well, Well, so it's not really the news I was hoping for, but thank you for telling me.
I tried to make it kind of positive for us, but depends on how you look at it.
They're kind of cute in a way, though. But
No, they are not, Joy. They're cute. I don't know if cute spiders.
Cute to look at on the video, but not in
Okay,
my car, not
exactly.
near me.
Keep them away from us. We just only want to see them on the screen, and that's it. Okay. All right, so Joe, we have to talk about this because, summer travel season is in full swing. A lot of people started kicking off the summer travel season, Memorial Day, holiday weekend. But here's something that maybe you haven't had to think about. Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport putting out this saying, before you think about going to a lounge for a cocktail before your flight, think twice. There are German researchers that found drinking alcohol while on a flight could decrease blood oxygen levels while you sleep. All right. Now, they say this could even happen to people who are young and healthy. Researchers suggest if you have some sort of a medical condition, you should stay away from alcohol on flights. And if you happen to be healthy, maybe young and healthy, that you should limit yourselves to one drink. So the only thing I got from that story is I can still have one drink if I'm on a flight, okay?
There you go. You can still have one.
That's the positive. That's how you make something that might not be so positive and you make it positive, okay?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the truth is one drink and I'm done. I'm too old for that.
One drink, Joy. Maybe two, and then I'm out myself too. Especially on a flight, trying to get some sleep, right?
Yes, definitely. And the thing is that I do want people to abide by this because I notice some people, they'll have a couple drinks and they're next to you on the plane and then they're just snoring.
Snoring,
that might be you,
falling
Brooks.
over if they're in the middle seat. And that's why I try my best to stay away from the middle seat because I have been that person. My neck is all jacked up and I just fall on the person next to me. Yeah, it's not a good thing at all.
At least you're considerate about it.
I try my best, right?
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Brooks Baptiste, with a look at that.
Thank you, Joy.
Okay, I want to get back to this water story that we've been following because everybody's so happy that they have their water back on. That boil water advisory has been lifted, but there's this underlying problem of the aging infrastructure in the city, correct? So let's talk about that. Well, in light of the water crisis, a lot of people are blaming the city's lack of urgency to identify and address the infrastructure issue, the crumbling infrastructure issue. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon has a closer look from the Atlanta Technical College campus.
The shortage of specialized watershed workers, the people who could have quickly fixed or even prevented this week's devastating water issues in Atlanta, is real.
We had a job fair last year for watershed. 500 people have showed up. Only 39 were eligible for positions.
Councilmember Antonio Lewis says, try as they might, Atlanta just cannot get water workers that it needs.
Talent shortages are real across the water and waste.
So at Atlanta Technical College, they're making those workers. Dr. Lewis Burke helped create a program, a partnership really, that will train existing Atlanta watershed employees to prevent large issues like we've seen over the last few days.
What kinds of technologies and skills are necessary with that? How to troubleshoot water and wastewater issues. Again, all things that are applicable to functioning with new and old technologies.
With a mix of classroom and hands-on training, 8 current city watershed employees will spend the next 2 months learning new skills that should bring peace of mind to Atlanta residents.
The water and wastewater training that we provide is certainly a wake-up call to invest in people. Knowledge and skills is as important as infrastructure and technology.
Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
Thanks so much to Doug for that report. And of course, we're going to keep following the latest there as the repairs are being made. Okay.
This wall is an artistic representation.
This issue. So apparently HIV cases here in the city of Atlanta are rising. It's very, very concerning. Health experts are also particularly warning Black women. So actually, our Madeline Montgomery went out. She spoke with survivors and really has more on this fight to really raise awareness and also support the victims in our community.
Of people who have gotten HIV. Some of them have been diagnosed, some of them haven't, some of them have survived it, while others have passed. Today, the city of Atlanta is celebrating those who are still surviving their diagnosis, and they're also raising awareness.
I was in that building on the floor in fetal position crying my eyeballs out when I got the news.
Theron Clark Stewart has been living with HIV since 2001.
I just wanted to live long enough to raise my children. Now they're grown, thriving adults, and it's a different world.
He's one of many being celebrated for National HIV Long-Term Survivors Day.
Antiretroviral medications has helped people to live longer. So really all people have to do, take their medication, get their treatment, go to their providers, and ensure that they can live longer lives.
But to get those life-saving medications, people have to get tested.
I think in terms of misconceptions, I think folks think that it's gone, particularly in Georgia and Atlanta. We have high incidence here.
Another misconception, who's likely to get HIV?
Especially African American women, unfortunately, are the highest at risk. There's about 20-something% women infected by HIV in Georgia, also in Atlanta. So they too are at risk.
That's where Aid Atlanta and the group Sisters with a Voice come in.
So we, our women, Sisters with a Voice, are working with the younger ladies, and they are teaching them the power of their yes and the power of their no.
Medical care, HIV prevention services, so that's HIV testing, STI screening, to make sure that people have access to the services that they need.
Aid Atlanta does free HIV testing. They have on average 100 people come through here a day. Reporting in Midtown, I'm Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
And we have more on this and all the top stories on AtlantaNewsFirst.com.